Up next, we have Mr. Sean Smith, Master Corporal, retired. Mr. Smith, 5 minutes, please.
Make sure that I got everything where I need it to be. Mr. Chair, Vice Chairs, honorable members, good afternoon. My name is Sean Smith. I served with the Canadian Forces Primary Reserve as an armored crewman with the British Columbia Dragoons and the South Alberta Light Horse from 1986 to 2001. 13 of my 15 years was service in full time, including tours of duty with the United Nations in Cyprus and NATO in Germany. I am the 9th generation of my family to serve Crown and Country, dating back to Sergeant Robert Perry, a loyalist who served with Jessup's Loyal Rangers during the American Revolution. My family has been involved in almost every Canadian conflict, foreign and domestic, from the War of 1812 to the end of the Cold War. For me and my family, remembrance is not a day or a month in the year. It is every day. It is with this history in mind that I have the honor of presenting my suggestions on how we as a nation can better remember those who have served and sacrificed for Canada, while continuing to recognize the ongoing service for those who proudly wear the uniform of our country today. Veterans, serving or retired, are living history of our nation in war and peace. Unlike memorials of stone and steel, they have the ability to share their experiences of wars fought and peacetime duties done. Growing up, I listened to my father telling me stories of service in the UN in the Belgian Congo in 1963-64, and I read my great-grandfather's memoirs of serving with Sam Steele in South Africa during the Boer War. It is these stories that connected me to remembrance. While well-known stories of valor and sacrifice of some of our nation's heroes is important, they are not stories that directly connect a majority of our youth, the carriers of our memory, to our collective history. I am sure Member of Parliament Broussard would attest to the difference between a child simply seeing a firefighter and a child who has a chance to talk to a firefighter or watch them work. I'm sure that Member of Parliament Sampson can attest to the difference of a child learning from something from a book and a child learning something from experience in person. Making those connections embeds a memory with meaning. Throughout our country, there are people and organizations that have committed themselves to creating living memories. Al Cameron of Veterans Voices has been recording veterans and their stories for years, so they do not get lost in time. The Memory Project, an initiative of Historic Canada, works to connect veterans and schools and organizations, allowing the veterans to tell their stories and experiences firsthand. They are people that are passionate about ensuring the memory never gets lost or forgotten. I strongly believe that connecting these organizations to the government resources, archives, and support, aiding them in furthering their effort to support the passion, will help ensure that so many of these stories will be shared and recorded and not lost to the ages. As a person who works with youth, I can tell you with certainty that in order to engage our youth in remembrance, we need to make a greater effort to actually connect them to that remembrance. We need to challenge and aid our youth to discover their own connections to the history of war and peace in our country. A youth who looks at a photo of Vimy Ridge Memorial might remember it. A youth who looks at a photo of Vimy Ridge and says, "My great-great-grandfather served at Vimy Ridge," that will most definitely remember. In closing, I would like to stress that my belief in the future of remembrance does not lie in the hands of you and me. While vital to remembrance, memorials and markers are only physical touch points to the people and places of our past. To create real remembrance, we must work harder to connect our youth and citizens to those who are the living memory of our history, as well as connecting them to their own family's part in that history. Thank you.